The next talk about is also dealing with authoritarianism, because the BJP regime has come up with this idea of one nation, one election. Can you also talk about how this new thing that's being promoted about one nation, one election, how is it also contributing towards an increasingly authoritarian regime, and how things are conducted in our country at the moment?
Yes. So I think one thing that we need to tell to everybody is that from the first general election till the fourth general election, we used to have elections as per one nation and one election mechanism only. And it was only in 1967 that for the first time from 1968 onwards, when the Congress system, I'll just try to tell you, there was a political scientist, eminent political scientist, Rajni Kothari, who used to talk about the single party dominance of Congress from the first general election till the third general election. It was only in fourth general election that they started losing state legislative assemblies. So earlier, since none of the state legislative
Hmm.
assemblies were dissolved before the central government, so that's why the election used to happen at the same time. But finally, when in 1968 several state legislative assemblies dissolved even before completing their term, so this change was introduced where, as per the 5-year terms, the elections would be held separately. So this thing has to be clear that it has a past precedent. It has a past precedent that it used to exist in past. And we need to understand that this also involves a lot of political ambition. I think one of the reasons that we need to see that the emergence of that Congress system from 1951 to 1957 was a lot basis a lot of goodwill and that Congress has received because of its role in national struggle for independence. Uh, so there was a generation of people who used to be loyal to Congress and they used to put their faith in the party that this is party which is representative of their interest, and the mass mobilization throughout the national struggle for independence has actually created Congress as a single dominant party, and that's why there was no challenge to its domination. So that's why you see that translated. So Congress used to signify one party dominance from one first election to the fourth general election. So presently, the present government, I think it is only after 1980s that in 2014 we had a government which had such a massive majority. And then you see over the years, even in state, Bharatiya Janata Party has been able to capture lot and lot of what you can say states, even those states which they had never been making government either by hook or crook or by just convincing the people to vote for them. They have been able to make dent. So actually, it is attempt on their part to have their regime like the Congress system. They want to have a span of 20-25 years where they want to rule throughout the country. So it is because of their overconfidence and what you can say overconfidence that we can have a system like that where we will have domination at the state level also and at the union level also. So at one level, this is the political regarding the political ambition and how when single party becomes the center of power in Indian democracy, we have seen these kind of trends. So earlier it was Congress. Presently, when we see it is BJP which is moving into that direction. So one election, one nation basically means that there will be no separate elections to the state and the parliament. There will be elections. The elections will be synchronized in such a manner that elections will happen at the same time. So it is usually the argument given in favor of this is that it will save a lot of money. It will save a lot of money of the government because having elections to the state legislative assembly
Hmm.
separately is a huge cost. But this is absolutely unacceptable to several well-wishers of democracy. And I would say that why it is unacceptable to several well-wishers of democracy, because the times have changed. The India that used to exist in 1950s and 60s do no more exist. And we have seen the
Hmm.
rise of regional parties. The regional parties, especially from 1990s, have come to have a very important role in Indian politics. And So it is very, very difficult to say that the federal system today works on the basis of the regional parties, because not everywhere we have the government of the what you can say a party which is a central party or a uh, not a state party. So at one level, we see that this is this is an attempt by the government to again curtail the federal, what you can say, the distribution of power between the center and the state. So the spirit of federalism gets dented when we course the two elections together, because the state issues are different and the central government issues are, means when the parliament is elections to the parliament is contested, the election issues are different. So when a government wants to actually influence the voters, that want to blur their imagination, that they cannot decide at center whom to vote, at state whom to vote, because all the, what you can say, the convincing and political mobilization and campaigning will happen at the same time. So it is an attempt on part of the ruling party and the BJP, which has a political ambition of controlling the entire territory of India, especially because Rajya Sabha. I think you all are aware that why states are so important, even for union government. If you want to have your majority, absolute majority, so that none of the laws are cancelled or die in Rajya Sabha, you need seats of Rajya Sabha also. So this is an attempt to somehow consolidate, to somehow curb the regional parties and bring a homogeneous rule all over India. Because when we have this elections together and when a party is having most of corporate funding, media, everything, so when that wave that they say about, that a wave is happening, so in that wave the many voters of the regional parties and state may be swept away and they may vote at their benefit. So I'm just trying to tell you what this is the actual reason that they want to. So the ambition of
I'll
having
I'll
a,
just take I'll just add something to this because
yes,
I was a
yes,
part of this election, both the state and the parliamentary election, and like and what we see is that first of all, money is an issue. Money is they you after for every election there's a lot of money being spent, and there's a significant it's a small but significant portion of voters that are being bribed, and the problem is to keep them loyal through several election cycles. So in this case, number one, I guess what they're trying to do is get into the mind of the voter, where he just goes and clicks one symbol in all the machines, all the booths that he has to go through, whether it's the state election. And the second thing is, yes, it's easy to control, but easy to predict, since you don't have to. Right now what is happening, the assembly elections are becoming a way of expressing dissent for towards the central government, and the central elections are becoming a way to express dissent towards the state government. So that's I guess a cycle which needs to be broken. But the money aspect of it is that one of the reason? I mean, because it's a quite an important reason. Last time they demonetized the entire country because they didn't want money to reach political parties to be able to use money during these elections. So is this another strategy, permanent solution for their temporary problems of winning the election?
and I think we need to consider also the economic slowdown may not help the corporate donors to give the same amount of money that they have been
Yes,
showering on
true.
them. So that is also a thing. So one very important thing that you pointed out, Avinash, I would just try to add 2 points to it. The one thing that you said about that how they want to kill the dissent from the state. So see, at now, if people are angry with policy of the government, suppose there are 2, 3 states where the protest movements are gaining ground and people are really upset with the policy of central government. And so next 3 states, which are very big states, so government becomes little scared that, okay, after 2 years or after 1 year, there is an election. So I will not act too authoritarian. I'll bring some concessions there. But when they know that, okay, our tenure and their tenure is same, So I don't have to have any pressure of democracy in that 5-year tenure, because in state also whatever is there is already there. So I don't have to go by that electoral cycle where I'm maybe responsible to the popular pressure. So as a result, I'm just trying to tell you, when we have this system of one elections, one nation, the government may act 10 times more autocratic. It may act because it will have no pressure for that 5 years to come to the elections elsewhere, because you see many times they have changed their decisions also, like in 2014 16 also, when the Bihar elections were due, sorry, 2015 when the Bihar elections were due, they had given good regard to the farmer protest. That time there was no so much repression of the farmers. So I'm just trying to tell you, means, some states when the elections are due, it puts certain kind of pressure on the government. So you can say that we are moving towards a greater authoritarian regime when we do it. And for this, we'll have to alter the constitution also. So this leads to autocratic tendencies, especially in federal countries. Federal countries should not have this kind of election where everything is together, because the pulls and pressures of democracy, which may push government to not act dictatorial, will totally go. So 5 years may be period of absolute horror for the masses, because they will have nothing. So they will come on road again. 144 will be imposed. Unlawful prevent UFEA will be imposed. So I'm just trying to tell you, sedition will be imposed. So for 5 years, there will be no recourse to people to put any kind of democratic pressure on the government. So it is very
Absolutely.
bad for, yeah, it is very bad for any democracy to completely keep the popular pressure out of the an election concerns. I think election keeps whatever, however autocratic the government is, the electoral pressure keeps them at least little bit sensible that if I act this way, I may offend the people, and it may lead to a point that they totally reject me and I may not be voted to power. So I
Do
think
you
that is
think
very
this
important.
is? Do you think this narrative, which is being used time and time again, is a way of distracting from the other electoral issues which are not being addressed, like gerrymandering, like even the doubts over the EVMs, and there are so many
Mhm.
other electoral reforms that are required, the electoral bonds,
Absolutely.
the electoral trust where only corporates can from the trust, like in US they have PA packs where ordinary people can donate to a pack, and then the pack in turn funds candidates from whichever party which share those political ideas. So is this a way of kind of diverting from the need of the hour, which is proper electoral reforms in the country?
See, I think electoral reforms have been pending in country for a fairly long period of time, but I think I think the role of money power, and not money power in the sense that how much is the cost for the exchequer to bear for the election, but how the government is being funded by certain corporate houses, and like a political party has been receiving such a heavy amount of fund, around 70-80% of the fund is going in their coffers only, and whereas other parties are getting a minuscule portion of that corporate funding. So at one level, because of electoral bond, there is no transparency to show that which political parties are receiving fund from this corporate houses. So there is lot of issues, because see, if I'm as a commoner person want to contest election, I cannot. I think we all know
We
that
need
we need money, lot of
we
money to
can.
contest election. We cannot. It's
I
absolutely
think
not possible.
we need to dedicate a whole another discussion for electoral funding, and we look forward
Absolutely. Yes,
to
yes,
discussing it
yes.
because
That
it's
is
a very serious issue.
that
Even more
undermines
so,
democracy. I think that
exactly, it's a
undermines
bribe.
democracy, whereas that does not undermine democracy. That is only a financial cost. That does not undermine
True.
democracy. So they're worried about financial cost there, but they're not worried about the undermining of democracy through that policy.
Professor Shivani, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, as we can have the whole
They should be audio is
exclusive review. So we can have an exclusive review video, Professor Singh, later perhaps. Um, But it was an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. It means a lot to have you share your knowledge and your views on what's going on in our country and especially our state, Goa. Uh, so we'll bid a goodbye to Shilpa Singh, but we're hoping that she'll be back soon. So